Hi there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. We are in the month of renewal. The idea being that we're turning toward and embracing this idea of refresh, restore, rejuvenate, fresh starts, all of those sorts of things. Basically everything kind of associated with how you might describe spring. And of course, spring is coming. If it's not, I'm looking at my calendar, I think it's next week based on when this is scheduled to go out. And of course, the vernal equinox is not necessarily suddenly it's all, bunny rabbits and sunshine. However, the days are gradually getting longer, and hopefully you're finding that, the sun is not only spending more time up in the sky each day, but also is warming you perhaps even more. And so it's the spirit of the sun that really inspired my invitation to you this week. I think this one's going to be titled something like Turning Toward the Sun. And what I mean by that is literally, just to harken back to, science, phototropism is basically, you may recall, when a plant basically, moves and responds to sunlight. So, the leaves will adjust and all that. And of course, sunflowers move every day. They follow the course of the sun, in case you didn't know that. And so this phototropism is about, maximizing the exposure for the plant, for photosynthesis, etc. And I feel like it's a very apt metaphor for giving ourselves permission to turn toward whatever is warming to us. So warming, nourishing, nurturing, all of those types of things. And just giving ourselves permission to turn towards it with perhaps more frequency, perhaps more depth. It really is very open to interpretation in that regard. But that is the idea, similarly to the sun itself and the fact that we're seeing more of it, which of course, at least for me, always feels very energizing to me. And it makes me feel like we are, as in the spirit of our month here, emerging from that, more yin, wintering kind of thing where we are much more kind of turned inward. And now there's much more of a blooming, if you will, and a turning outward. So just reflecting on what to you in your life is that warming, nurturing, nourishing, what use whatever word you'd like, thing, activity, person, that really does kind of give you that quality of feeling warmed and just like the sun. You get the idea. So that is my invitation to you this week. I would love for us to go ahead and take a moment to sit together. And if you'd like, it's entirely up to you, but one thing that you might want to perhaps play with during our meditation today is this idea of reflecting on what is your quote-unquote sun, the thing that fills you up, that gives you what you need, and what are some ways that you might be able to turn toward it even more. So let's go ahead and get started. Set my timer for 10 minutes. Last week we were very silent, so I'm going to be doing a little more talking. I always like to have it a little mixed up and alternating. So as always, if you haven't already, either closing your eyes or lowering your gaze. I always like to invite people to roll your shoulders back because we're so hunched over most of the time, our tasks and our stuff. And taking those nice, long, nourishing, deep breaths. And just allowing those deep breaths to really ground you and help you to drop more fully into your body, in particular below the chin. And you know, of course, you can rest your awareness for this sit on your breath. You can also rest it on any body sensations. I'm feeling drawn to that right now for myself. And you can hold your body in its entirety in your awareness. You can also just rest it on a part. You can also, as you've heard me say many times before, you can also use sound as an object for your awareness, as your anchor to the present moment. But for whatever reason, I'm very drawn to this idea of just noticing my body. And I'm feeling real curiosity and interest about sensations in my hands for some reason. I mention this only because we may not have talked about it before, this idea of one part. You can rest your attention somewhat lightly. And another option is to rest your attention in a perhaps more deep, and I would even say a more energized way, like really putting forth that effort to have your awareness penetrate any sensation. Like, what does it really feel like, that right pinky, something like that. And my overarching thought around all of this is do whatever feels easy. Sometimes I find I'll be meditating and holding my awareness too loosely. And then at other times I find I'm putting in too much effort. It creates a quality of tightness and constriction. So in whatever way you find that sweet spot, not too tight, not too loose, just rest your attention on whatever feels like it doesn't require as much effort. Again, circling back to this idea of ease. And allowing yourself to turn toward whatever anchor is the most supportive and nourishing for you right now. Just like in the intro regarding turning toward your sun. Whenever you find that your mind has wandered into thought, you can just acknowledge that thought, and if it's helpful, you can even label it or categorize it like a worry, an idea, or a memory. And you just see it for what it is, just images on the movie screen of your mind, either created or recalled. And then you just pivot and shift your attention back to whatever anchor feels easier to rest your attention on. And when that happens over and over, remembering that it's not a problem, and that over and over repeated returning is actually what contributes to your more enhanced, I guess you could say, mindful awareness that serves us off the cushion when we're just going about in our daily lives. And in the interest of playfulness and lightness, for the last minute or so that remains, just playing with sitting and waiting for the next thought to come. Which direction does it come out of? Is it from the left or the right or from behind? Just sit and wait for it. Again, just keeping it fun and light. And holding that awareness until the final bow. And that's our 10 minutes. Yeah, this idea of just allowing yourself to make it easy. You know, you've probably seen those, I think it's like Office Max or something, the easy button. If only, right? But sometimes I think we resist easy because it feels like, I don't know, it's the easy way. And so whether it's in your meditation practice or in other elements of your life, just inviting in some of that ease and easiness. And then just to circle all the way back to where we began, perhaps inviting in another quality of ease to this turning towards whatever elements of your life are nourishing and warming and soothing, and whatever it is that you're looking for, reflecting on what that is or what they are, and allowing yourself to turn toward that more for a longer amount of time, with greater frequency, greater depth, etc. So thank you, as always, for taking this time for yourself. And thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And I will see you next week. Take care.